Raise your hand if you've ever read this book, What to Expect When You're Expecting. Now, this book is the #1 best-selling pregnancy book, in case you don't know. I just got my hands on the 5th edition. As I was walking through my neighborhood, I found it in a neighborhood little library box. And I was excited. I was very excited to see, what kind of information are they actually sharing here in this book that sold over 19 million copies. And just so that we're clear, this 5th edition came out in 2016. The first edition came out in 1984. As a holistic pelvic physical therapist who works with women in all stages of life, including pregnancy and postpartum, I have a little bone to pick. I have a hot take. This book needs its 6th edition. Why? Let me tell you. Out of curiosity, I went to the postpartum section the first 6 weeks because I feel like a lot of women know that, a pelvic PT is really helpful in that stage of life. I was specifically curious about postpartum sex and what their insight was, what kind of advice are they giving, because in my course, Vaginal Alchemy, I feel like a lot of women are unlearning things about their sexuality and how they want to express themselves and what their bodies actually need. It's like a whole recalibration to listening to their body on a true level. And I was pissed reading this section. I'm reading from page 509, and it says lubricate and loosen up. The lubricate section is talking about using lube. And while I'm grateful that lubrication exists so that I can do my job really well in a way that women receive my care pain-free, which is not a sexual experience. It can be erotic, but it's not sexual. I'm glad that lubrication exists, right? However, when we are overriding our bodies and constantly lubricating while we're still inherently dry and we're not actually fully aroused, we are then not listening to the true sensations coming from our bodies. We're not listening to what our mind is even saying about our bodies. I also have a huge bone to pick with this section about loosening up. It says, speaking of lubrication, drinking a small glass of wine can also help you unwind and keep you from tensing up and experiencing pain during sex. Just make sure you sip it right after a feeding if you're nursing. Okay, grateful that we have that little nugget. But what if someone doesn't drink? What if someone doesn't actually want to use alcohol to numb any pain that they are physically feeling or emotionally feeling or mentally feeling in their bodies in postpartum? This is the problem. I think we need to learn, maybe early on, before we even get pregnant, because what if we're actually experiencing pain with sex before a pregnancy? How is postpartum going to feel? Sure, birth can really heal women who are experiencing painful sex, and I'm grateful for that avenue. But what if women didn't have to experience painful sex and use lube and or use a bottle of wine or a glass of wine to quiet down their systems, to quiet down their body's signals and numb themselves? What if they actually listened to the pleasure that could arise with time and grace and love and presence, breath, movement, and just, true awareness? I think we're doing women a huge disservice by sharing these little nuggets. And I think Vaginal Alchemy is the solve for this. If you're someone who experiences any kind of painful sex, numbing, you feel like you need to numb, you feel like you are completely disconnected and you don't even know what you want, it's okay. No one taught you this. But Vaginal Alchemy will guide you into a deeper, more true connection in the simplest way possible, which will also then include the energetics that I think are also so important when it comes to your sexuality. The link is in my bio if you're curious about learning more. We have 9 personalized maps going out in Alchemy August. If you are interested and really want to deepen into your own sexuality and including your pelvic space for a more fully embodied experience with your sex, whether or not you're in postpartum. Because every woman deserves better sex. Everyone deserves better sex. Am I right? All right. I love you so much. Until next time.